So I've discovered through building my first £1 million business and through coaching other new business owners, the biggest factors that will decide how fast and how reliably you can achieve your goals are focus and consistency. And your ability to focus and be consistent will dictate how quickly and how reliably you can achieve your dream life or whatever goal it is that you've got in mind. So to go through this video today, I've got the whiteboard out. It's the type of video you want to focus on so that you can really up level in your focus and consistency. And so we're going to go through this today in this video so that by the end of the video, you'll know exactly how to improve your level of focus, your level of consistency, so you can achieve whatever result you have in mind this year. So back in the UK, got this handy whiteboard out. We've got 5 principles that we're going to go through today in order to achieve your best focus and consistency that you've ever had in your life before. And I've broken it right down, spent time to really plan out this video. So we're going to go through just the essentials and cut out the noise, cut out the distractions in order for you to really achieve what it is you have set out to achieve. So the first thing we need to all agree on is the fact of how important focus and consistency are. So I'm going to assume this is you over here, and I'm going to put a little unhappy face on you because you have not yet achieved your dream life. You've not yet achieved your goals. If you have, you can click off this video. But if you have a goal that you haven't yet achieved and you want more from life, then this is a perfect video for you, because there is a gap between who you are today and the goals that you have achieved so far and who you want to be and the dream life or the goals that you want to achieve. And in between you and your dream life and the goals that you have is this gap. And the way you go from where you are today to where you want to be is this, and this is going to represent the body of work that you'll need to go through in order to become the type of person that can achieve your results and move away from this current identity who is not yet capable of achieving your results. The reason I know that you need to do work is because if you already had the identity that can achieve the goals you have, then you would have already achieved them. And therefore your current identity is perfectly placed to achieve the current level of results you have so far. And so we need to go through a body of work in order to get to who we want to be and to achieve whatever it is we want to achieve. So the speed at which you will go from where you are now to where you want to be will be dependent on 2 different things. And that is, firstly, the intensity with which you show up when you complete the work needed in order to achieve the results you want, and the regularity of how often you show up to do the work in order to achieve the results that you have. So within this body of work, there's the intensity that will dictate the speed every time you show up. And the regularity is how many times a week, how many times a month do you show up to work on that goal in order to get through that body of work that will get you to where you want to be. And the 2 things that we can actually work on, the 2 things that we can control in order to increase the speed. Firstly, the level of intensity is dictated by how much you can focus on the work that you have at hand or the goals that you have. And the regularity, how often you continue to work on this, is going to be how consistent you are, and your ability to improve your consistency is going to have the next biggest indicating factor on how quickly you can achieve your results. And therefore, we can agree that the better you are at being focused, and so the more intense you can be with the work that you do, the faster you'll get to where you want to be, and the more consistent you can be. That means the more regular you'll show up to do the work, and therefore the faster again you'll be able to achieve your results. Now, I've put together my own framework in order to improve focus and consistency, and that will be 5 different principles or 5 different steps to go through in order to go and take your focus and consistency to the next level so that you can achieve whatever it is you want. And these are not easy, but these are things that once you put your right step forward and you work on this every single day, you'll be able to achieve whatever it is. And these are the 5 steps that we are going to go through today. So I'll clear off this board now and we'll go through step 1. So step 1 is your ability to see the future. And the first thing we need to do is a foundation for everything else that follows. And similar to what I've already laid out, there is a person in the future that you need to become, and this is the goals that you have. This is your future self that needs to is capable of achieving the goals that you have. Whether that is a £1 million business, or whether that is 10K a month from a business, whether that's having location independence and traveling the world, whether it's time freedom, whatever it is for you that you have as a goal for yourself this year to achieve, then this is the person that you'll need to be. However, it's staggering. It was staggering for me as well, how vague this person generally is for people. I know when I was back here in my journey and I didn't know what to do, and I had a idea, I had a light bulb moment about what it was I wanted to achieve. When I thought about the person that I wanted to be in the future, I was so vague about the direction or the vision or the final destination that I had. I was just coming up with goals like to be rich, to have a Bentley, or to be successful, or to travel the world. And it was not any more specific than that. It was just a goal or a destination in mind of just being successful. I didn't know exactly what that meant. But if you don't have a clear, vivid, detailed vision of what your perfect day looks like, then it's very hard for you to ever achieve something that you really would be proud of, because you're always just moving forward and you don't have a clear destination in mind. It's like setting out on a drive without having your destination set. If you don't have your destination set, then this, instead of being a straight line from where you are now to where you want to be, you'll end up going in a very slow, wavy pattern, moving towards something and then moving towards something else before finally arriving at success. But it will take you so much longer because you never had that clear direction of where you want to go. And so once you've got a clear vision set out and a clear, perfect day in mind, then you'll know the actions to take. That's the first step. Know exactly what it is you want to achieve. Now, step 2 is all about breaking down how we get from where we are today to that vision, that clear picture we have in mind. So where we are today to the clear vision that we know where we're going, the way that we go from here to here is not by thinking about this all the time and doing the actions that this person is going to take. Instead, the getting to success is not about one big leap. It's about small steps. It's about tiny chunks that you break this body of work down into every single day. And so instead of thinking about what does this person need to do every single day, you need to think about what does this person need to do on day 1? What does this person need to do on day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5? And you don't think beyond the next day. Because as soon as you think beyond the next day, it starts to become overwhelming with all the different things you need to do in order to achieve your results. And therefore, all you do every single day is just think about what do you need to do the next day, one day at a time. Small actions taken repeatedly lead to huge, big results. And so the only way you actually ever get a big result completed is by taking the small actions required on the way. On my way to building £1 million business, I never thought about things I needed to do 6 weeks down the line. When I was first setting up my company, I wasn't thinking about how am I going to optimize and scale my marketing campaign, because I knew that would come in time. I was thinking about which business bank account should I choose? How should I get my limited company set up? Which software should I use to build a website? I was thinking about things that come really early on in the process, because that's all you need to do, one thing at a time. And when you get to this stage, the new questions will arise when you get to this stage. It will be a natural progression as you work towards your goal. But something that holds so many people back is not being able to break down their goal and just seeing an overwhelming large picture. In reality, these big goals are completed one day at a time, and the quicker you can break down your goals into just one simple action every single day, the better. So start to realize that the best thing you can do each day is by just setting out your goal the day before, rather than trying to work everything out every single day. Okay, that was step 2. That was taking things daily. Now, on to step 3 for improving your focus and consistency. Again, is on this path that we're going to take to go from where we are today to where we want to be. And so far, my graphs have been very simplistic in showing you how to get from where you are to where you want to be. It's been on single graph, single line like that. In reality, the actual step and the roadmap to progress or roadmap to success looks a lot like this. On your way, you're going to have lots and lots of choices, lots of distractions that you could choose to do and will just take you off your path to success. And what it looks like is every single day, this is it. Each of these arrows represent a new day. When you come in to do your work, set up your laptop, and you come in and think about what is it you're going to do, you'll always have choices about where you spend your time. And it's up to you to decide that you're going to focus on what actually matters. And the best way to describe this and how we can focus on what matters is the 80-20 principle, or the Pareto principle. And that states that 20% of your actions will lead to 80% of your results. And therefore, just 1 in 5 of the actions that you take towards your goals are actually making 80% of the difference towards the goals that you have. So the job that we have then, with this being a fact, is that we need to focus on what are the 20% of actions that really matter, and how can we double down on taking those actions more and more often so that we're going to get bigger and better results in a shorter amount of time. So in reality, every single day, instead of just seeing these 2 different options, the one option to carry on your path, you'll actually see 4 others that are all distractions. And these will be disguised by things that you think are important, like answering emails or adding new apps, or distraction, no matter what business you're in or whatever goal there is. For every single day, there'll be perhaps 5 different things that you think are important, but one will be the one that really matters if we listen to the 80-20 rule. So it's up to you to find out what matters and just focus on taking that action to keep moving forward every single day. And then it's relentless, it's consistent, it's consistency, realizing that you're going to have to do this every single day and choose the path forward every single day, rather than getting distracted by these things that will try and pull you in different directions. But that's step 3. It's all about focus. It's about focusing on what matters. And it's about the 80-20 rule. So we know where we're going. We know that we're going to break it down daily. And then we know that we're going to focus on what matters with the 80-20 principle. We're going to eliminate distractions by just taking one step at a time. Beyond that is now step 4. And this is something that I see far too many people dealing with and not getting right. And that is procrastination. So with my experience of coaching people with new businesses and my own experience of starting out new ventures, failed businesses, successful businesses, what I've always found that's got in the way of a successful business is procrastination. And that's when your brain tries to pull you away from doing what matters and pull you into actions or distractions that feel more comfortable in the moment. And I've worked out the best way to view this in order to overcome procrastination. So I'll show you now. So first of all, we need to accept that procrastination is just human nature. It's not laziness, it's just human nature seeking comfort. And all of us have a human brain which is designed to move away from pain and towards pleasure. We're all wired this way. Our brains are constantly seeking, what is it that we're going to find pleasurable? What is it that we're going to find painful? And how can we get ourselves to be moving towards pleasure and away from pain? Now, other words meaning the same thing, you might realize as well, in the same way, our brains are always designed to move us towards what feels comfortable, and it's designed to take us away. Let's do it in red pen to highlight how bad this is. It's trying to take us away from discomfort, because what our human brains are trying to tell us is that this discomfort or this pain is a sign of potential danger, and our brains are basically just wired to keep us safe. And so it's constantly going to tell us what is the pleasurable thing, what is the comfortable thing that we should be doing in order to protect ourselves, in order to stay safe. So what that means is quite often the things that feel painful in the moment will be the actions required that you need to take in order to achieve your goals. Naturally, these actions are going to be new, they're going to be difficult to an extent, and they're going to feel uncomfortable because they're actions that get you outside of your comfort zone, things you haven't done before, uncertain things like cold calling or building a website when you've got no experience, or taking on actions that you've just never done before. It will feel uncomfortable in the moment. And these will often be associated with a decent amount of pain in your mind. And the pleasurable activities would be to procrastinate, which would be including things like cleaning your room, because suddenly that becomes a lot more pleasurable than doing the required actions. When you know you've got to do that and you'll procrastinate, you'll tidy your room, you'll answer emails, you'll I don't know, open up more tabs on your laptop to feel more busy than you actually are, or more productive than you are. There's things that will pull you away, and you'll do them because in the moment they're easier, they're more comfortable. So the way around this is that we need to manipulate our own human psychology. So we need to start to associate more pleasure with this side of the equation than we do with the other side. And this is the way that I was able to overcome procrastination, was because I was able to manipulate it to make sure that these things on this side of the equation were more painful than this side, and this became more pleasurable. So the way we do this is we start to look at the future and we visualize these things, and we start to tell ourselves the future if we don't take these actions, or if we do take these actions, what does life look like? So I made this more pleasurable because I'd start to picture myself in a world where I had built a successful business. And I used to do this every single morning, and I picture what's it like to have £1 million business with sales coming in every single day, with a successful business that allows me to travel the world. And I'd have a clear vision of this every single day. And I would tie that clear vision with the goal that I needed to take every day, because I realized that I needed to understand what I needed to do every single day. I realized that I needed to focus on the things that matter every single day. And so when I woke up that day, I'd visualize taking that action, and then I'd visualize the pleasure that would come from taking that action. So I'd literally start to constantly remind myself that when you take these difficult actions, this will lead to amazing results. And so this became a pleasurable visualization for me to visualize taking the actions required. And then that's one thing, that's maybe getting you 50% of the way. The other 50% of this manipulation is to actually start to imagine the pain that happens when you don't take the actions you need to take. So start to think about if you were to just procrastinate all day today and sit down and not do the actions, if you were to tidy your room, if you were to stay in bed longer than your alarm, start to visualize what would happen in the future if you did that consistently. So I would start to visualize having a life that was just not living up to my potential, feeling like I was living a mediocre, average life. And I'd feel the shame and the pain in not being able to provide for my family as much as I want to, and not being able to see the experiences that I want to have, not being able to live that life of luxury or comfort or goals or traveling or whatever goal that I have. I wanted to be able to achieve them. And I would start to picture what it would look like if I didn't achieve it. And what very quickly became apparent was that I wanted to do everything I could in order to make sure my pleasurable vision came true, and to make sure that my painful vision didn't come through. So I manipulated it so that these actions became a lot more pleasurable, to actually do those actions, because I knew what the future would hold. And actually procrastinating and tidying my room, or delaying the inevitable actions that I needed to take, getting out of bed, those sort of things, became a lot more painful, and a lot more shame around that if I didn't achieve them. So I manipulated it to make sure that this was on the pleasurable side of the scale. And so every single day it was a lot more pleasurable for me to achieve these and to take these actions than it was to procrastinate. So take time to really manipulate that in your own mind as well, to understand that really to move forward, you need to just focus on taking the actions required every single day. And that is the fourth step. Now, moving on to the fifth. This fifth step is all about what happens when things get tough, when things go wrong. We're on this path again, from where we are today to where we want to be. And along this path, I can guarantee there will be things that come up in between here and here where you'll feel like you don't want to carry on, where you'll feel like this is tougher than you expected, or it's not happening as quickly as you expected, or things have come up in life where you're getting distracted or pulled in different directions because you think there's a better option. The grass is greener on the other side, or you get pulled in the different directions, and things ultimately are pulling you away, making you think that this isn't important anymore, making you think that there's a better path somewhere else to achieve these results. And it'll happen. Happen to me, and it happens to me all the time. I'm constantly being bombarded by thoughts, and not bombarded, but regularly getting these thoughts of self-doubt whenever you go towards any goal. I think it's clear that we're all going to experience this. And the way that we can counteract this, and whenever these thoughts come up, to make sure that we refocus and get back onto our goal in order to eventually achieve success, is this rebound effect. And something must happen here to catch us when we're about to drop out. And I believe the best way to be caught when we're about to leave is by having a community around us. Now, community does two things. It gives us two types of support that we need. Firstly, it gives us emotional support. Now, emotional support is required when we feel like giving up, when we feel depressed, when we feel like we pulled away from the goals that we had, when we can't be bothered, or when something else feels more important. The emotional side of things are taking over and we're going to give up, or we can't stay motivated, or we're going through that dip in a motivation cycle where we can't keep pushing on. That's when you need emotional support from people that are holding you accountable and want the best for you. They give you emotional support. And secondly, a community will also give you tactical support. The best types of communities not only want the best for you from an emotional point of view and push you forward, the best communities also know the actions that you need to take tactically in order to keep pushing on your goal. So finding communities that are also pushing towards goals, similar goals to you, finding communities that are a step ahead of you or on the same level as you, will give you that tactical knowledge as well as the emotional knowledge to make sure that you carry on taking the actions required and you will get to the end goal that you have for yourself. But you need to be able to rely on something to pull you out and push you back towards your goal when things are getting tough, because it will happen inevitably. And communities are everywhere today, virtually, because it's easier to find communities now online than ever before. Because in the past, if we were reliant on our physical networks, it's going to depend really on where you grow up or the contacts that you're able to make. But nowadays, it's very quick and easy to find people that are going to be able to give you this support on your journey towards eventual success. So your ability to stay focused and consistent is going to depend on these 5 factors. And the more focused and consistent you can be, the more quickly you'll be able to get your results. Now, this is hugely important because whatever goals you have in your life, you're only going to get one shot at achieving them. You've got one life. And the way that you can make these happen is by increasing your level of focus and consistency, because without it, your dreams, your goals, your ideal life just can't happen without your ability to stay focused and consistent. So it's hugely important. I hope these 5 steps have been clear for you today in order to make steps forward in the right direction towards your goals. Take them day by day. Come back to this video, understand these 5 steps inside out, because this is all you'll need to improve your focus and consistency and get to the goals that you have laid out for yourself. So I hope you enjoyed today. If you have done, let me know and I'll catch you in the next video.